Hey guys, what's up? 1:30 live from Sunrise, Florida. So today's purpose of going live is we're going to be talking about men in this business. I'm going to be connecting with Jamie Fitzpatrick, my mentor, one and only, whom I connected over 7 months ago. And since then, it's just been an epic journey. I want him to come into this live video, talk about men in the business. He's been with the business for over 4 years. Therefore, I think it's important that those of us men who are skeptical about getting into this business can actually listen to this live and get some notes and get some knowledge about what he's been through, and then maybe, it'll change your mind as well. So, before I get into that, I hope you guys are on your B100. Today was Morning Meltdown, day 1. I've actually started with 2 workouts a day. In the beginning, it was going to be 1 workout daily, but I'm going to actually do 2 workouts a day, and I'm going to try to finish it in about 50 to 60 days, hopefully. But without further ado, I'm going to invite Jamie into this call, and let's make this happen. All right. I'm excited about this.
Why do you get the top? I wanted the top.
Let me work on that. Hold on. No. All right. We're live.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. You're on the bottom. You're going to stay on the bottom for the rest of the call.
I wanted the top, man.
Connection.
I think my connection's bad.
Connection seems to be bad. Hopefully it'll pick up. All right.
I'm going up.
All right, Jamie's gonna go upstairs to the kitchen. Here we go.
I'm moving. We Canadians don't get good internet, so hold on. How's it going?
Good. Going very well. Thanks for coming into this call, Jamie. So, December 19th, 2018, I was watching another fellow coach out of 40,000 of them. I was watching her stories. She was working out, looking at a screen. She was doing all these movements, exercises. I said, "What are you doing?" And she talks about Beachbody. She talks about these home workout programs. And then she goes, "Hey, you know what? Jamie Fitzpatrick is very much like you. So I think you guys can connect."
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, I connect into your page. I watch your stories. Maybe the 5th slide, there's a question box saying, "Drop your email." I drop my email. Within, 20 minutes, Jamie reaches out to me, says, "What's up, buddy?" We get on a call the next day. 7 months later, 25 pounds lighter. Found one of my best friends' brother, and I love you to death, and it's such a blessing to have you, Kim, in my life, and then along with all the Crush Nation people.
Yes.
That we've connected with. Jamie, we need to end the skepticism of men in the business who are potentially losing a lot of opportunity to really grow physically, mentally, and obviously financially in the business as well, and just kind of use this as that powerhouse. I want to talk about, I want you to start with who you are, how did you start, talk about the legendary Tony Horton and how P90X changed your life. From there, I want to go into mindset, fear, specifically focusing on men and how we are very stubborn about sticking to our own kind of workout programs and kind of closing our eyes to different opportunities. Talk money, talk about residual income, which is one of our interests when it comes to business. We talk about this, and you've mentioned it many times. And then I'll kind of tie that up with the new men's only private group on Facebook that we have, and then just go from there.
Yeah, I mean, that's 84 categories you've given me. And here's the other part is I will talk all over the place. So that is a part of it. This will not probably flow. I like to talk about many different subjects.
Yeah.
So if you need to streamline me at any point, just be like, dude, you're all over the map. Get it streamlined.
No,
But
go, be all over the map. The fact that
I,
you're on this call is already a gift. So
I will say thank you for the kind words. Love you, brother. It's a crazy what you can meet people online and have a connection and stuff like that. And I don't think it's a societal thing, but I think men especially, and if you haven't read the book by Lewis Howes, Mask of Masculinity is a very good book for all men to read. I think a lot of us have been raised in a society to act a certain way as men, and I don't think it actually does us justice all the time. But I think aside from that, this business is the crazy part is as people look at this business now, a lot of them view it as a female business because of social media. When if you actually look behind the scenes, and don't at me, I'm not saying this isn't a woman's business or a man's business, none of that. But a lot of people look at this and see it as a women's business because they're more on social media than men. When the facts are, if you look behind the scenes, especially in our company, most of the older coaches who are actually making the most income, not all of them, I'm not, just a generalization, most of the men that you'll never hear about are actually making the most money, and they are the millionaires. There's some women as well, but there are more men actually. And the funny part is, and a lot of women in our company will admit this, when they want to seek financial help or financial guidance, again, not all the time, a lot of them go to some of the older men in the company who have a lot of financial education about how this business works. And I love that because that's part of this business that I'm really attracted to, is the residual income side and the growth side. And if you want me to go on a rant about employees and employee mindset and society and how big business is built and how we've been conditioned, and I was a teacher, I taught high school, so this is nothing, I don't have any ill will towards the education system, but I think we've been trained through the years to think like employees, and we've been trained in our school system to actually train how to do math, but we're not trained on financial literacy. We're not trained on money. We're not trained on what residual income is. We're not trained on how to produce income for your family, whether it's real estate or, a lot of those skills are learned after the fact. And the reality is that when you sit in your grade 11 counselor's office or guidance counselor's office, they don't talk about entrepreneurism. They don't talk about all the things that actually allow you to live a life of freedom. They don't talk about any of that stuff. They ask you, do you want to be a doctor, lawyer, plumber, teacher, nurse, all the things that fit in the box. Nothing wrong with that. I was one. I was a teacher. My wife and I were employees for a long time. But big business, this is my opinion, you can agree with it if you don't want to, big business has set it up that way. Big business has set it up so that the top 3% of people in corporate America make the money and the rest of the people are employees. I could go on and on about this because these are my theories and opinions. I think as a society, they want a middle class and people struggling to pay their bills. That's how it's set up. They want it that way because then you're tied to working for that company. If everyone had financial independence and freedom, who's going to do the jobs for all these people? It's been set up that way, unfortunately. It's why I talk to my children about money and income, not about stuff, but I'm trying to educate them on the value of income and money and why that leads to time freedom later on. Not educate. I don't ask them, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to be? I'm educating them on money and how that can lead to a lifestyle of independence and time choice and freedom. Whether that is going to be as an employee, I'll let them decide that. But again, my opinion is that people, whether it's the political system, whether it is corporate America, they want people to struggle financially because then you are tied to that company. You think you're going to miss a week's work or 2 weeks of work and miss that paycheck that you need to pay the bills and put food on the table? You can't. It is a forced system. It is a cage. Not for everyone, because hey, you might have a good paying job and you have a pension and maybe that's what you want and it works for you. But that's the part of this employee mindset that I don't like, is that we've all been given a value on our time, and it's whatever your employer tells you you're worth. If you're worth 20 bucks an hour, that's what your time is worth to them. That's what your time's worth to that employer. So my job as part of what we do, and what I love about this business is no one puts a cap on what you can or can't do. No one puts a cap on your income. No one puts a cap on your raise. I determine my raise. I determine how much time off I get. I determine when I want to work. And guys, I built this business when I had a full-time job. I was an employee when I started this business. Both my wife and I were. And we built it in the pockets of the time because I understood that if I could build this business up to a certain level, I was in control of what I could do with this business. I didn't have to show up at a certain time in this business. I could do it when I wanted to. Again, no one determined my raise. No one determines my yearly income. I get to decide all of that. I get to decide that based on my level of effort, work, all of those things. So listen, I've got nothing against big business, corporate America. It's funny, right? But too, because people talk about what we do as like some sort of a top-down level, I don't want to say scheme or anything like that, but they're really, it's actually quite the opposite. It doesn't matter when you start this business. It doesn't matter when you got into it. It really is it's the most equitable business out there because it's all based on when the work that you put in and what you want out of this business. And again, we don't have a long enough call to discuss the details of this business, but it's a really beautiful business in that we can all help each other build each other's income, and we all work together. And the one thing, and I've also been part of a franchise system. I was a franchisor where we had 23 locations. All the stores had to pay us a royalty every month. They had to pay us 6% of their sales. So they were writing $3,000 checks to us every month as part of their thing, plus a 2% marketing fee. So 3, 4, 5 grand, they would write us checks. What I love about this business is, Batu, you could grow your business. I'm your official mentor. You could grow this business to be $1 million business over the next 3, 4, 5 years. Whatever you determine, Batu, I'm going to help you do that. Maybe it's a 6-figure business, 7-figure, whatever that is. You're going to grow this business to that. You're going to give me this much of that $1 million for being your consultant, your mentor, your friend, your trainer, you're giving me 0%. I don't take a percentage of your money. I don't take 0% of what you earn. Yet, people would deem a Dunkin' Donuts franchise or McDonald's franchise, or they deem that a society that's okay, and cut those checks to the corporate office every month to use their system and all that. Yet what we do is somehow, I don't know, what did it cost you to start your business, Batu? Your online business? What did it cost you?
$160.
$160 to start an online business. My first retail store was $250,000. And plus we paid $7,000 a month in rent. And we had employee costs. We eventually franchised it out, and our franchisees then had the same costs, but they also had to pay us $5,000 a month in royalty fees. Yet, society deems that okay. If you had a friend that opened a franchise across North America, whatever, you'd call them up and you'd go to their opening and be like, congratulations, you opened up McDonald's, I don't know, Boston Pizza, I don't know what you have in the States. Like, you'd be congratulating them, and you'd show up for their opening, and you sit at their bar and have a beer. You'd be like, you open up your franchise when you're opening up your, society deems that okay. Cool, you're in $250,000 in debt. You have to sell a bunch of stuff to survive and pay rent and all that stuff. But this business that we do, that is online, that costs $160 to sign up, that costs Batu $15.95 a month to run. That's his coach fee. Doesn't have to give me a dime, can determine his own raise. He uses some of the product. You don't have to actually earn a commission, but you do because it's a great product. And he spends $97 US he spends actually on his product every month. So $3 a day, $4 a day, he drinks a superfood shake. Anyway, society deems what we do, and he can stop at any time, by the way. And he actually could have returned it within 30 days too. So the societal view of all this is how backwards it is, you guys, is that it's okay to go and work for a big company. It's okay to go and work for Procter & Gamble and be a janitor, whatever, secretary, whatever, and make your $32,000 a year you know, and never get a raise and never move up in the company. You don't share in the profits. It's okay to open a franchise where you're paying $7,000 a month in rent. You're giving $4,000 a year. That's okay. Society's like, go do that. Go to school for 5 years, get $150,000 in debt, and hopefully get a job. That's okay with everybody, right? Your friends are okay with that. You don't get judgment for that. No one calls you out. It's like, that's cool. But to go and start an online business for $160, right? Where you can cancel anytime, you get to try it for 30 days, you can return it. You get to actually build an income yourself that's residual. You don't have to buy product and resell it.
No employee fee.
No employee fee. You don't take payment from anybody. The company produces new product for you. You don't have to worry about product development.
Credit cards.
You don't even have to pay for advertising because it's social media.
Yeah, exactly.
But yet, and to kick it all off, like, we actually get to help people with their health. And it's not a bullshit thing. This isn't a scammy thing. Like, we literally give people workouts to do and legitimate products, the performance line, like we sponsor Ironman, like you don't have to take, we help people. So the crazy and the unfortunate part is society has deemed this so wrong, and because it's outside the box, that people don't do this because they're so used to fitting in that societal box, right? Yeah. You're so used to fitting in that, and it really becomes a cage. Yeah. It's not a box, it's actually a cage, because you've been so conditioned to fit in that. And I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm not, but you also have to understand that there's other things out there for you. There are, and yeah. My whole attitude has been, just because something is different doesn't make it wrong. In fact, it probably makes it actually pretty special. Yeah. And so I've always looked for those things in my life that are different, that are outside the box. Because that's what most people aren't willing to do.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So again, that's my tangent on that. I don't understand it. It's like, I understand why society views it that way, because again, we've been conditioned to think that way. It's just like, there's a world out there, guys. There's a new economy. It doesn't have to be network marketing. There's a new economy out there. And if you are not playing, or whatever you're doing, even if you have an existing business, whatever that is, if you do not have an online presence, it's going to be really hard to run your business. And the cool part about this business is we actually get to help people. Physical health, mental health, emotional health, right? Which are the big ones for us.
It is.
And then we get to tie it in with the fourth one, where we can help people with their financial health. And it's not easy. It's not going to happen overnight. This is not a get-rich scheme. You're going to have patience and grit. People are going to say no to you. I don't sugarcoat this. It's like any business, you guys. You're going to have to step up and show up every day in this business. But people, somehow in network marketing, people, because it's such a low entry point of $160, because it's so cheap to start, you get a bunch of people that just roll in and don't take it seriously. And they just think I'm supposed to make money just because. Well, no, this is like any other business. The difference between me is I treated this business, and I actually signed up for $50, Batu, when I joined this.
Yeah.
The difference is that I treated my $250,000 retail store and this $50 business, I treated them the same way. I gave them the time and dedication, and I poured my heart and soul to it, and I showed up for 4.5 years. And it's turned into a 7-figure business. Now here's the income disclaimer. Yeah. This is it's based on your effort, diligence, skill. You have to work at this, guys, right? But
just like any business,
no one,
nothing different.
Like anything, and you shouldn't. But people treat this different because it's such a low cost to get in. But they just assume you should be making money. Well, no, you got to work at it. Yeah. Like anything in life, right? So that's so the first off is, to do this business, you have to have an open mind. You have to unthink some of the stuff you've been thinking in the last 10 or 20 years. The world has changed, guys. Like our pension's going to be around forever. I don't know. Like you need now, I mean, if you want to live off of $5,000 a month once you've retired, or you want to spend 20 years like that, I think the figure is like $3 or $4 million you have to have now or something. Like it's like you got to think outside the box. You have to develop all the revenue streams, and it may not be this, but you have to sort of think differently. And online obviously is a big way to do that now. So that's my first thing. So let's tackle men in the business. Or do you want to ask any questions on that, the two?
I want to tell people who are watching, currently 21, just to really take this opportunity to ask questions as much as possible.
Sure.
Whatever comes to mind. So I'm going to read them to you if they do.
Yeah.
So far, nothing. You can jump into men in the business. Why are the men very skeptical and
well,
kind of, if you will, and then if there's any questions along the way, I'll read them to you. Kind of raise my hand in between.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike has a good point there. Like, let's be honest. I'll speak about me and then maybe my story a little bit. But here's the thing. It's like I've always thought of myself as a guy's guy. I love sports. I drink beer. I love to swear. I'm not more emotional than the average dude. But I'm not afraid to share my struggles. I think my ego's in check. I'm okay with being vulnerable. I think that helps other people to see other people be.
With people. Yeah.
Well, it not only resonates, but it's like we all have stuff, guys. Like, we're all a little bit broken, you know. Like that's just, if you think no one's broken, like, guys, we've all had to go through really hard things in our life, and I'm just not afraid to share that because I think it helps. I think it inspires people. So I would never stop doing that because I'm worried about what some knucklehead is going to say about me, you know, not being manly enough or whatever people describe manliness now as. I don't know, you know, I'm not sure what that means. Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty vulnerable because I think it has an impact on people. And so why wouldn't I want to have an impact on people, you know? And so for the thing about men in this business is that men should actually be far more excited about this business than they even realize. But the problem is they view it as a social media business. They view it as like, you know, you have to be a certain way, when the actual facts about this business is, especially for men who are a lot of times numbers driven and they're income driven or want to see stuff. This is, and I'll just say this, to be honest with you, this is far more of a men's business than a women's business. I'm just going to say it. Sorry, some of you might not agree with that. This is way more up a man's alley than a woman's alley. If I'm being brutally honest with you, the problem is most men won't dive in and look at the compensation plan. They won't dive in and actually look how this business is built. They won't. They you know, I think that, and I'm not saying that women aren't good with numbers or anything like that, because there's a ton of women in this business who are super successful, that build massive teams and all that stuff. My point is that you men are missing the boat on this business. You're just seeing the upfront. You're not diving into the background to actually seeing the parts of the business that, like, I fell in love with. The part that I fell in love with is the behind the scenes. Is I go into my back office and I see my leaders on my team growing their income. I see the leaders growing their business and adding other coaches and building their organization. That's the stuff that lights me up. That's the stuff that, like, guys, what you are completely missing this industry, like completely missing this industry. It is going so far over your head because you think it's something that it's not. You do. You think it's something that it's not. It's not a fitness business. It's not. This is a leadership business. This is a wellness business. It's a happiness business. It's a growth business. The main thing we do is improve people. That's it. This isn't looking pretty on Instagram. This isn't looking pretty on social media. This is an improvement and a growth business. That's all this is. And the cool part is you get to do that with other people, and you get to grow a business for other people and yourself that can last for a really long time. A really long time. And I the only thing I can tell people and tell men who are resistant to this is you're either being more fearful of the business than the average, because a lot of women actually aren't scared of this business. But I think more men are scared of this business because they actually don't understand what it actually is. And so you need to ask more questions then, because I think you're missing out on a massive business opportunity. Like my mentor, Miguel, you know, he was one of the first people in Canada to join, not that he had to be. crushes the business as a dude, you know? And like, you know, I can name off name after name after name.
You had a call with Patrick Reelman, right?
I just had a call with Patrick. He was a guest speaker on our leadership call. Crushes the business because guess what? He gets the financial compensation side of the business. He understands leadership and how to grow a team. And you guys are just missing the boat. And a lot of spouses too, who have women, their wives are coaches and they're trying to build a business, and you spouses just won't support because you don't get the business and you're not willing to look at it. And that's shame on you, because you know what? You're taking money out of your pocket. You're taking money out of your family's pocket because you're not willing to look at this business. It's just ignorance. And hey, we're dudes. I get it. Like we are an ignorant species. Not all of us, but we can be stubborn, right? Like I get that. You know, I am one. I can say that. Don't at me. But you have to open your eyes, and especially spouses too, who your wives are working the business. Like, I don't know if it's a insecurity or a jealousy thing. They're starting to spend time in the business and maybe not you. Sorry, you gotta suck it up a bit and man up a bit. And it's one thing if your wife isn't actually working the business. If you're gonna take time away from your family and your spouse, man or woman, make sure you're working the business. That's not fair either, right? But if they're working the business and they're trying to grow something for your family, you're just not willing to actually look at the business and judge it. You're burning effing money. You're burning money out of you. You don't like more opportunity for your kids? You don't like to go on an extra vacation because you're judging the business your wife is doing? You're burning cash, man, and you don't even know it.
Yeah, Suri Crow. My brother would be an amazing coach, but he and my family laugh at Beachbody. When I told him Beachbody sponsored Ironman, he didn't believe. How do we get through that barrier of skepticism? Yeah, Suri, tell him he's burning effing money, just like Jamie said.
He's just fearful. I mean, look I'll say this too, and I mean this with a lot of respect. Entrepreneurship isn't for everybody.
No, exactly.
It's just not. And look like, I'm not trying to disrespect people. It's just not for everybody, because you look I have people who join and they quit within a month or 3, some for varying reasons. Most of the time, my personal belief, they just don't understand what entrepreneurship is, or they get a couple people who might judge them, or they get a couple people who don't want to join and they quit because they think they failed. Holy shit, guys. Entrepreneurship is failure, learn, grow, succeed, fail, learn, grow, succeed, fail. Like, that's entrepreneurship.
I like what Gary Vaynerchuk says. Entrepreneurship is like jumping off a cliff and then building a plane on the way down. It's just, you know.
Yeah. You're gonna jump off cliff, and sometimes a parachute is not gonna open. It just won't open.
Yeah.
Right? That's the host of Family Feud. Steve Harvey says that. He's like, you're gonna jump off the cliff and you're gonna like get scraped up, and your parachute won't open sometimes.
Yeah.
But eventually it will. You know, but you got to keep going. So it's like entrepreneurship is not for everyone, because you have to have patience. You have to have grit. I think it's a bit of a mindset, you know, but God, it's fun. Like it is like growing a business from scratch and not knowing much about it. That's the fun. Like that's the part of life that you should enjoy, is starting something that you know nothing about. The cool part about our business is you have mentorship and you have systems and resources, and you're not starting from scratch. Like when my brother and I started our store, our pet store, 250, no one told us anything about the business. Like everyone was a competitor with us. They don't necessarily want you. We didn't call other pet stores in the area and go, hey, can you help us with our business? Like, they don't want you to succeed. You know, in this business, it's like you get this ring of support, you know?
And the thing is, you get the benefit of the health aspect from the get-go, right? So you have your workouts, you have your nutrition, whatever. And men, especially, who are looking to get results, but they're not getting it. And then when you tell them about Lift 4 or Body Beast or these workouts that actually could get them to where they want, there's still this barrier that we just put. I mean, we're focusing on business right now, but I do want to open that kind of gap where, listen, you don't have to get into this as a business. you can actually try the workouts, try the product, guaranteed that if you stick to it, that you'll see results. And then later on, you know, just eventually, I always say this, if I were not to be in this business, I would still, till the rest of my life, use the product, do the workouts, and not have to, wouldn't worry about the income aspect of it if I didn't think about the business aspect. So there is that gap of just step in and then look at the community, look what we do, wake up in the morning, do your workouts, use the nutrition, see results, and then eventually it just your mind just opens up to the, you know, the personal development and sharing ideas, and then from there it becomes with, okay, I have kids, long commutes, long hours, wait a second, 20-30 minutes a day workouts, and then from that see results rather than having to spend 2 hours in the gym, still be skeptical, spend time on your phone, say hi to the dudes, and still not get results. Like, it's just, it's all this, you know. That's why I think it was important that's also to be mentioned, not just business, but you can actually step into it.
Here's the thing, but too, it's like, I don't care what business you run, but if you don't personally grow, you're gonna have a tough time growing your business. And the cool part about what we do is it's one and the same, really, right? And I say to people who maybe have never, and you don't need to have done business to do this before, you don't need a fitness background, like, you don't need any of that. But what I say to people, if they're not sure, I'm like, look at, like, just come try the workouts, come be in our accountability group for a while, just come check it out, see what it's all about. And then in a month or two, if you feel it served you well and you love it, well, let's talk about the business. You know, like for me, I gained 60 pounds through stress from a last job and company. And I was watching Tony Horton, an infomercial, like 10 years ago, and I ordered his P90X, and I lost 60 pounds from it in my basement. And that was my emotional attachment to the program, you know? And I didn't do the coaching until years after. But yeah, it's you develop this attachment to the company and the programs when they.
You're back.
You got me?
I got you now. Yes.
There we go. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, you develop this connection to the programs and stuff, and then from there, it's like you see how you feel, and then you want to share that. It's a natural thing. You're like,
yes,
yeah, I want other people to feel like this.
Exactly. Yes.
You know, it's like why? Okay, like you call up your neighbor, like, dude, you got to try what I'm doing. I've lost 20 pounds. It's not about the weight, but it's like I feel amazing. You naturally want to share that with other people, and then you take it to the next step, and you're like, maybe you invite a few people, and then if you love that part of it, then you grow a team and you mentor people, and there's a lot of possibilities. And there's some people. Oh, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, my earbuds died. There's some people, but too, who they just join for the community.
Yeah.
Right? And they may not even be interested in joining in doing the business part, but they just join to be part of the coaching community and the personal development and all that stuff. Like, there's no guide or metric that you have to hit. It's not like you have to do it. This is a community. We invite you in. If you want to just be a part of it, cool. If you want to grow a business, awesome. If you want to just work on yourself, cool. There's no judgment here. Like, that's the best part about our team, right? But too is like, it's just such an open-minded crew that there's no judgment. It's positivity. It's not all unicorns and rainbows all the time, but it's a group of people that you kind of want to go to dinner with, and you don't have to worry about, I don't even want to say it, but anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
the fact that when you said, once you start this journey and you start kind of doing the workouts and you naturally just want to start sharing with these people. I said this yesterday, and I was talking to one of our neighbors here, and he said, man, like, when you talk about this, I can really see the passion in your eyes. And he wouldn't have said that back in December if I were to start talking about, I joined this thing and it's workouts and nutrition. but rather having stuck to all the workouts and committing to them and so on to this now, 7 months later, when I talk about it, even when I post it on my stories or I am sure yourself do see the difference in my posts and my feeds.
Yeah.
Just because it's just because I'm so passionate about it, and it is. I think it's all about really stepping in, and kind of getting into that momentum of yes, like let's see what's going to happen at the end. Passion, community, like you said. I think the biggest reasons that I'm sticking to this whole thing is the community. I've made friendships better than I have when the last 10 years. I mean, it's crazy. And yeah, so yeah, man, I mean, questions, none so far. We only had, well, let me see. How can I help my white car business?
Wife.
Wife. Oh, yeah, wife. How can I help my wife build this business? I guess where should I invest most of my time while still being a teacher? Her goal is to help retire me so I too can grow our business.
Ask her. Ask her what are some of the things that he needs to learn in the business that would help her. Just ask. Like, is it in the back office? Is it with the compensation plan? Is it? And it depends on where his wife is in the business too, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean that's the first step is like he needs to ask her, and he also needs to find out what he's comfortable with in the business. But he's got to take the first step, and I would say to him is like, is he hopping on team calls with her? Is he hopping on mentorship calls with her?
Jimmy, you have to show interest.
Sure.
Rather than expecting to be told what to do, ask questions. What do I need to do? And do your research. I think being resourceful is obviously one of the biggest aspects in this business, because there's so many resources that we don't go and look for because we're not resourceful. I don't know if that makes sense. And yeah, any question you ask, Jimmy, to your wife, even if she does not have the answer, there is an answer to it, and you can easily find it out. Reach out to myself. Again, I think it depends on where your significant other is, at what level, when did she start, how much she knows, and so on. But it's all about asking and researching. So yeah,
for sure. Yeah, and like Emily has a good point. It's like Kim and I, we run the business together, and it's like any other kind of company. It's like we just work together to grow the business, and whatever we can do to help each other, we talk about it and go through it like that. Yeah. And Jimmy, like you've only shared workouts in my progress. That's great. So, but if you want to get involved in the business, go learn about the business. There's so many resources. And like I said, hop on her team calls, start doing the work that she's doing with her. Right. Yeah.
And team calls are great. We have them every Monday. We have a 7 o'clock new coach calls. We have an 8 o'clock Q&As. We've got a 9 o'clock. The whole team gets together and we talk about particular subjects that Jamie and Kim bring up. We ask questions. We find out answers. And it's just, that's why, community is massive in the business. And I do have to kind of point out that Crush Nation is one of the top, teams in the business as well. And this is, your marketing part where, join us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. There's tons of amazing teams and coaches, and there's also tons of amazing companies out there. It's not just us. Like, it's a really cool industry, guys. And people, this is the thing. I've done both. I've done all three. I've been an employee. I've not only been an employee, I've been a boss of employees. I've been a franchisor, and I've ran my own business, and now I've done this industry. It's an amazing industry, and I understand all the other ones too. Like, this is an amazing, equitable, fair, real business. People just don't treat it like that, or they're just not willing to look at it, and you're just losing out. You're losing out, because what if this is something you excel at?
What if?
You don't know
what you don't know, right?
It's the everyday person's business. You don't have to have $100,000 to invest. You could all have your own online wellness company tomorrow. You could all have it tomorrow and start to learn for $160.
Go find that somewhere else. And you get to take your number one job is to take care of you. That's it. That's your first priority in the business, right? Is to take care of you.
Yep. Take care of yourself. So for those who say I'm not ready, I'll let you know when I'm ready. One of the things that we get a lot. So this is why we're actually opening, and we have opened a Facebook private group, which Jamie is also in. He's going to watch the growth, and hopefully we're going to have men's only. A lot of men joining in who are members of Beachbody On Demand, who are actually willing to do the workouts with us, hold each other accountable, share ideas, and listen, just men. We could talk about anything. We could share. Not everybody's going through a cool life, if you will.
Yeah.
Sometimes men who do not want to speak to women or even their significant other about something that bothers them, they go look for their men, the friends, the buddies. And I think this is going to be an open, judgment-free group where we're going to gather together. It is called There Is No Tomorrow. The reason why we came up with that name was from Rocky III, where Apollo tells, Balboa, when he says, let's continue tomorrow, he goes, there is no tomorrow. So for those of you who say, I'm not ready yet, I'll call you when I'm ready. There is no being ready. So there is no tomorrow. That's the name of the Facebook page. Do join in. Send your requests.
Yo, Adrian. Yo, Adrian.
Jamie Fitzpatrick Fitness on IG. I love you, man. I
love you too, brother.
I'm so glad I've entered my email in there, and you just called back, and I came to visit you, spend time with you guys. It's going to be great. It's a lifelong friendship, and thank you, man. Thanks for your time. This is going to go on YouTube. This is going to be on IG for the next 24 hours. This is going to go on to the Facebook group as well that we just opened up. There is no tomorrow. Men's only. Men are needed in the group. Autumn Calabrese at the Super Saturday when we went this 2 days ago said on the microphone as we were taking pictures, she said, where are the men in the business? We're looking for men in the business. So she pointed it out. Jamie pointed it out. I pointed out, and we just need to kind of calibrate.
Let me say one last thing as a man. Let me say one last thing as a man and a father too. It's like, I think we need in society too to be like, we need some mentors for our youth, and we need to show our young men as models, because it's no secret. Typically, children model the same sex parent, not all the time, but a lot of the time. And we need to, and whether you're a parent or not, or an uncle or a friend or a brother, we need to mentor and show the rest of society and men that like we don't have to be machismo all the time, guys, and we need to take care of ourselves, and we need to show up, and take care of us physically, but also emotionally and mentally, and be open with that stuff. And I think I think we see a lot of mental health crisis in our society now, and a lot among men too, because I think we're really afraid to share feelings and open up. And I think this community and what we do really lends itself to growing as people and as men. And I don't want to get too deep on how we treat women and stuff like that, but I really think part of this community, what I love about it, is you attract a certain type of people that are just want to live better and grow personally and think differently and be positive. And I think we need to be role models for our sons and nephews and all brothers and all those people. And I that's what I love about this business too, is you just grow. You grow so much in the way you think about stuff. Less judgment, more positivity. We all need that. I think sometimes females do that a little bit better than men, maybe not always. And I think us as men need to be a little bit more open and vulnerable it's okay to connect with other guys and share shit, and it's okay, right? And I think that's what I love about this business too. So
if I were to be on this call with you 7 months ago, just like all men who will watch this who are not in the business, I wouldn't believe you.
Yeah.
I'm a single dad, but men who are in a family environment, their spouse and so on, we generally want to make sure that we're taking care of the family. We are, the backbone, if you will, of the family, and we're just trying to basically take all pressure, everything on our shoulders, and not necessarily seeing all these opportunities that we can actually catch and use them as resources to be more of an example to our kids and children.
Yeah.
I have a 5-year-old son. My top priority, my why is my son, and that's what I go with. So for those of men who are out there who are, yes, skeptical, who do not want to necessarily go behind the scenes like you do and show interest in how you can build this business and how you can make residual income, just open your eyes a little bit, because there is so much opportunity. And I'll leave you with that. Crush Nation, crushing it.
Love it.
It's a great book. Jamie.
Thanks, brother.
October, my birthday. I'll be there. If you're there, I'll see you.
I'll be here.
And yeah, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
See you, buddy.